Hello.
I believe I'm ready to go.
Huh?
I'll get the live stream going here now.
It's so beautiful. Tell me what this is about. People, we will make it. No one can stop this energy once it's arrived. Together we can do it. Reach out to the sky. We have no choice. We want to live and survive. It's like a flower germinate, reaching for the sun rays. And once the circle opens up, we choose the lines of better ways. Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo. Hey yo, hey yo, it's time to reach out. Hey yo, hey yo.
Okay, I'm on live stream now. We're on live stream. So let's start recording all those that need to record. Gentlemen, start your recordings. Okay, here we go. And official announcement, this is Friday, October 30th. It's the afternoon session with Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Blueprint Teachings. And Mr. Keshe is ready to go with the afternoon session here, I believe. Go ahead, Mr. Keshe.
Session of this week of the blueprint. As we promised, we're going to release the blueprint today. Vince, have you received the package from Marco? Pardon? Hello? Okay, thank you very much. So, as we promised, we have released the blueprint of the energy unit. You can go on to the blueprint.Keshe Foundation or Spaceship Institute. Do you want to give the link? What is it? Can you tell us?
www.keshefoundation.org. It's right on the homepage.
You can download. Everything in detail has been given. And you can see, can you share a screen that we can see it? We can go through it. Fabio? Can we share a screen or that we can see the blueprint on the screen? Yeah, on the board, yeah. Can you put it on the screen to share, Vince? Go from the beginning of it. This is the way you connect it onto the circuit of the house, and you have to understand how and the way you connect it. The meter, the house circuit breaker, the power unit sits on the phase, or what you call the hotline, the lights, and appliances, and refrigeration, and the rest. Would you like to go to the beginning of the folder? It says from 1 to 23, please. Okay, this is to show how you wind a coil and the way they're done. If you can open it, please. This is the count and the way system, gauge 14, solid copper, insulation removed, made into a coil. 62, 8110. They put the counterclockwise. Remember what we said. Can we have the next page, please? It shows in detail how you insert every detail of it. Second one, next one, please. You see the way it's set. The system is the diameters and everything here. Next one, please. And the next one shows how you have to insert the wire through and what you're going to get. You can see the connection. You see the connection in the following pictures. How and the way you have to connect has been taught in the past on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. This is the firing by Nano Coating using a button torch. You start. Temperature should be only be right before copper turns red hot. If it turns red hot, you lose your nano coating. Next one, please. See step by step what color has to be, the shape of it, the connection of it. It tells you never use metal plates. Read in detail. Everything has been put in step by step in detail. The next picture, please. Everything step by step. There is no possibility. There is no chance you can make a mistake in how you handle the copper, what you're going to wear, how soft the material is going to be. The next step, please. You got to realize there's a small difference in the nano coating by heat and nano coating by caustic. In caustic, we create a slight gap that the heat can get in. In gas burning temperature, you don't have that problem because you heat up the whole element inside. With nano coating, it's slightly different. But when you get your turns inside the plate, they position themselves as they should be. Next, please. This is 1.6 millimeter. So there's a slight difference. If you have a copper in America, it's 1.63. The European is 1.6. There's a slight difference between the two gauge working. Next, please. The copper you got to use, it tells you the copper that is not soft, not yellowish, and hard to bend. We saw yesterday with Sandor, the problem he has with the heart. Then you see a different effect from your system. It says yellowish are hard to bend because of the impurity. Okay, can we have the next? The next picture. Yes. Yes, please. We wait. This is the magnet circuit connection, what we showed you. There is an update on this, will be uploaded as they see if there is a mistake on it. So, or this is part of the blueprint key. There is a correction to this one. Can we have the next page, please? As you see, you have the two coils, and this is the connection. Circuit connection on the stacker series, where the way you connect your wires from the positive, this is looking at the stack down up. This is the bottom one, next one up. Next one, please. You see Maghreb University AC Power Grid Series, how it is connected to AC power and the load. How you enter, there is a correction to this one, where we sit on the live and you work on the positive and the negative. The next one, please. Can we have the next page? This is for the vehicles, for the cars.
Sorry, obviously the light shall not be earthed.
Yeah, there's a problem, definitely a problem in the last couple of drawings there. It had the ground attached to the positive.
Yes, there is a correction added to the page. You'll see there's a correction has been done. This is the original blueprint, and then correction has been done the other way around to it.
Okay, well, people should know about that because that will definitely blow the circuit breakers in your house or whatever.
Yes,
Do that.
because you got to go to this and remove it or put the new one in. That's what Vince has the correction. The next. Pardon? There was a correction sent to you over. I'll give it to you in this afternoon to put it in.
Okay, that other one should be removed immediately from the.
Remove that, please, from the blueprint, and we add the other ones to it. Or with the pictures, please, yeah. Just remove these till you get the corrected one. If Brennan is on the line, can he send it to you and then put it back up? The next one, please. Okay, can we have the dish plates, please?
Maybe you want me to share, Vince, from the PDF? Is that the idea? Okay.
Have you got the dishes, the stacker dishes, please?
I have to try to get the blueprint off the website while Vince is trying to take it down. So it's going to be a little tricky here. Just a minute.
No, it's just keep it off, then we re-edit it.
Then we can't put it up for you.
Is Vernie online? That's what he had. It was supposed to be changed. It was sent to be changed. Is Vernie online?
Bernie?
Mr. Keshe, I already emailed the updated one to Vince. She's just checking it for a while. There's
Okay. You will change it and put it back in.
yes, there's the newest version. Just got home.
Yeah. Okay, thanks very much. in any case, yeah, they want you to rename it.
I put a different date for every version.
Okay, we need the last version, the complete set.
So you can check the date at the end for every file. So what's the latest dates? That's the latest version.
Mr. Fox is here. No, you're too shorty. How long is it going to take, Vince?
Vince will be working on the website to take that down. I'm not sure how long that'll take and put up the other one. I don't have a copy of it.
We come back to it. We come back to it. We go to something else. When it's completely done, we come to it for the download.
Yeah.
The process, you got to remember, as we said, the units is made by you the way you see it and the way you want to do it. And that process, you have to follow the procedure, which is, we explained this morning. You put that on the MAGRAPH side of the specification when you go to it. Follow the procedure the way it should be done, that you don't make any mistakes in connection, in understanding how you have to use it, how you have to set it up, and how you can bring it in. As we said yesterday, I mentioned this morning, some 1,000 units of the system will be given to the Italian community on the steps as they come in to be delivered to the Italian nation. And they have come up with a way to do it, that maybe it's good to be copied by the others. I was looking at it. I think Andre can explain to you how you want to do it for Italy. And we'll see how they decided to support it for their people. Yeah, would you like to explain how you see how you do it, please?
Hello, everyone. So the way we try to sort out the distribution of these 1,000 units is we have different region in Italy. We have different region with different area. So depending on the area, we have done a proportion, and we have give different numbers of units. For example, Valle d'Aosta, which has a surface, an area of 3,263 kilometers squared, we give 11 units. And another region which is bigger, for example, Emilia-Romagna, which has 22,446 kilometers, we're gonna give 75. So depending on the area, we divide these 1,000 units or to create a grid. This is what we have think. Another problem will be the installation, but with Giovanni, with his supervisor, we're gonna sort out another another plan to install the units, because we think that at the same time these units are for poor people. Most of them are retired with 70 years old, and so we need to sort out a way to install as well. They cannot maybe do by themselves. So Giovanni told me yesterday that he has regional supervisor, regional people who, and we are trying to sort out for a way to connect the unit, or to teach other people how to connect. This is
You
it.
want, Giovanni, do you want to explain why you're going to do it? You three are responsible for Italy.
Good afternoon. It's honor for me that Mr. Keshe gave to us this gift, and it's honor for me to help the people for this great opportunity. I think that the best way to go forward is to help the people and create a net for have a better quality of emotion, a better quality of life, and in this way we create a develop of all nations. I feel the responsibility that this model probably should be applied in the other nation. So I'm very happy that Mr. Keshe was in Italy, and for this reason I tried to make the best is possible for make an example for the other nation. And this is for the gift. We put a model, in this model, with a special email. We take all the order of the people that probably have this kind of economic problem, and check all of this. And after, probably we make a coordination with the supervisors of regional, with the help of electrician that check that the implant was correct, and this and after probably these people that receive this plasma units teach to other people near them that probably are in the same kind of problem, to how can build, or how can they do for change the situation. For what is my what I can do, I from the next Tuesday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. and Thursday too, I start with the teaching in Italian language. So who wants to know this technology, I have the possibilities to learn and apply. This kind of teaching, I know that there is a lot of people that can be listened from the other country. For example, Hispanic country, I know that look to match my workshop, and so I try to explain as better as possible all the knowledge. This kind of program of the teaching of plasma teaching, I try to put in like Italian teaching like school, with a program that is as possible compact, scientific, in that way for Italian people that that study too much to the school, is better to understand this kind of technology. So I, for the rest, for all what happened, I hope that you can help me and yourself in the best way as possible. Thank you.
Don't forget, Caroline now is part of the Italian community too, so she can have a say.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Microphone higher.
Good afternoon, everybody. There's one thing not many people know. Giovanni was the person who came to get us from the Cinzano. So we have stayed in Italy thanks to Giovanni. We have moved to the south thanks to Giovanni. And this is how we have been progressing. Thank you.
Thank you for your help.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, as Caroline says, the whole reason we came to South was Giovanni coming to the Cinzano and convincing us just come for a trip. And we came for a trip, and that trip became moving down to the south. It's okay, let him sit there. Just move a little bit that way. The process is that next week we will release, or the week after we release the first housing unit. The Italians need to organize themselves to be able to handle this with other organizations like Nigeria. The same thing goes down to Alex. The point with this gift is the people who are going to use it are going to be educated about it. When they see the benefit of it, especially when you give half of it to elderly people, you know elderly people can't keep their mouths shut. They are the best advertising board. I told you, I have calculated everything. So when we give this gift, half will go to the people needy and half to the, what we call the grandparents. The grandparents, each one have 10, 15, 6, whatever, grandchildren and the grandchildren with everything else. So in fact, the technology, because the grandma has to understand how to use it or whatever, will spread in thousands very rapidly. And as we said, this is one step towards sharing the knowledge. The blueprint was another. The teaching the way we done today was another. And as we go along in the coming days and weeks, more and more different aspects of the technology will be released. The blueprint will have other blueprints with it. I explained to you something that if we have the news, I'll let you know today. And the news during the lunchtime, speaking to people who work in the background, there's a number of people who are developing things for the foundation, but one man is heavily involved in developing it, and I spend a lot of time with him. I've done it for the past 2 or 3 months. Is that we explained to you this morning when you put your system at after the grid or wherever you put, then you connect it to your maggraph box, then it goes through the house. You can put a second auxiliary unit into the system that you can increase the power to go to kilowatts, 5, 7 kilowatts. We tested something and the test is correct. We came to assumption yesterday, the day before. There is a possibility to increase or to hide the AC in so many ways from the view of the system, that the system does not see the AC as a load, resistive load. And the way came up with an idea, tested yesterday, tested this morning, and is correct to be done, is now we've developed a miniature coil. The coil you made with 180 and 80, 160 and 80 to make one plate. If you use a slightly thinner gauge or even the same gauge and make two smaller units, that becomes like the adapter. It's more or less is the size. You can use 16 gauge. This is what is used. Now we can produce a system like this, that you add your heater, the resistive heater to it, and you can connect into the auxiliary or anywhere in the house. And what we see in such a rapid way, another maybe 20% reduction in resistivity. So if you put two of it, most probably we see 40%. So the system, your magna power unit, this way does not see the heaters as a resistive load. We think we have solved the problem, and it looks to be 99% correct. So what you do, if this is your heater, you can add a small unit inside your heater, and you put one on the plug, most probably reduced by under 40%, and what you will get already long term, the system does not see as such a heavy resistance. What is, for example, 2000, you will see it in the process of the whole thing, and from the back, something like 400 to 600. So this is the step we told you. The minute we discover something, it can be done. And I was explaining it to you yesterday. We might do a system this small. This now, we immediately go to design by early next week. So you can buy adapters to be able to use for loads. Maybe in a house you need 4 or 5 of them. And wherever you have a heater, then the system is 2000 maximum. Now you reduce it. You can have 2 kilowatts or 4 2 kilowatt units in the circuit. This is a change. It's the same way, the same as before. You still have to let the system grow, but with these adapters, we'll most probably within next week or so, we'll see a prototype. You created the same double coil, but very small, and you can add to it. And so instead of the 2 kilowatt with cascading, if with the cascading, this is what is important. With the cascading, we have tested 5.2 kilowatts roughly. Now, with being able to cut in the cascading, if what we think is correct to be done, now, in fact, you can go automatically to 10 to 12 kilowatts. Because the system does not see 5.2. The system sees something between 3.8 to 4.2 kilowatts. This is how the system will go. If you put a second adapter to it, then you go around, let's say 3 kilowatt, what is seen by the system. But if you look at it on this side, your 5.2 goes up by another 2.8 kilowatt, which means more or less you're sitting around 9-10 kilowatt load. So a small adoption, now we've seen it, is possible to do, and you just change the system. So in so many ways, if you look, the ball game, even from as you see in the blueprint, has changed. It's the addition to it. As I said, we are in the forefront of doing this, and the others will come and follow it. And what you will see is a total new system, where before, and the system you get is 2 kilowatt at the moment. You're cascading it, you go to about 5.2, and now the system sees maybe 20-30% less than the 2 kilowatt which was already there. So you have another 30%, and then building it up to something 8-9 kilowatt. I'm sure in the coming weeks, as we see different condition and direction, we can cross the barrier to 10 to 20 kilowatt. Yes. You just need a small power, very small power, that you create the need for the alternative. This is what we see, and if you create the alternative, we see how it goes. So the next step for us is a backing to the backing, and if you can do the backing to the backing, you're talking anything around 10, 15, 20 kilowatt power units within the next week, 2 weeks. This is important, and as I said, literally off the press, the way it comes and it's getting done, and the connection and the addition will increase. If you increase the number of your capacitors, if you increase the size of your capacitors, the number of the turns, you'll see all those start making the difference. If you increase the number of the coils at the entry, the number of coils parallel to the disk, the addition of a second or a third stacker, you can create a miniature 3-stacker on the same basis to become the new adapters, but we don't see a need for it. This is the way, and on the other hand, wood is small plugs will become the replacement for the cascading. You put 1 unit at a power supply, and you put 3 or 4 of these in different positions around the house at the end or in the middle. While you are increasing the power consumption that you can do from the circuit, the system is developing more power for it to be used. This is what is to come, and this is what is there now. When I'm in Rome next week, we'll most probably go ahead and produce the first prototype in testing, miniaturizing. And if you remember, a couple of months ago, I said to you, in a coming time, these power units can be made the size of a CD-ROM. And now you see for the first time, we've seen it here. I think for Africa, small consumption, 1 unit should be enough. 1 stacker plate. But still, we foresee growth, and then more and more people can use the technology in that way. Do we have to use or produce, instead of one big unit like this for third world nations, or produced as a cassette size? And now that we see the technology works this way, 2 cassette size that they can use, and they can have whatever they need. So this is what's literally off the research since this morning. And there are a lot of people who work in the background to make this thing happen. I have to tell you that by this afternoon, the first rule should be on their way. We inform you within 7 days after the shipment of your goods, which means if you don't receive it within 7 days, you get a note from us, then you have to find a tracking number from us to see where your goods are. We don't pre-announce where the goods are shipped, the way they're shipped, but this afternoon, the first batch will leave, and next Friday, you will receive an email with your delivery. If before next Friday you have received your unit, be kind enough to respond to the foundation that you have received it. So we are now on the track as we promised with what we did, and we delivered. When I come back on Tuesday, you might see the, what they call it, production line samples, one for the car and one for the power unit, which is going to stay here. Next question. Or is there any question? Yes. It doesn't work properly, no. Because it was done. Actually, in the Philippines, they did make a star formation, and the power is not there because it's a different proposition. Vince, is the system finished? Hello. Rick?
Vince may be offline working on the website there now, I suspect.
Mr. Keshe, there was a database crash on the website, and that's going to cause Vince all sorts of headaches.
Pardon?
There was a database crash on the website. That's going to give Vince all sorts of headaches. He may be quite a while.
What do you mean database crash?
The overloaded the database. The SQL server crashed and damaged the database. So it may be a little while.
Is it? We got. It's up and working. I'll call it. Okay, you have corrected the file, Vince? Okay. So by this afternoon, you will have the full blueprint before we go, and you can work with it. The only pictures you haven't seen, which will come up, is the stacking unit. Then you decide how to do it. How you want to do it is exactly the same as what we've shown. It's on layers where you put different units across each layer. And this is the final stage of the assembly. And more or less, as I said, the power unit is complete. And hopefully next week, we start getting reports from you lot, how, why, and the way you see the reduction. But please go back to the website and put in your comments. What you're getting, the way you're getting, and if you see any deviation, and how you see that it can be corrected. Any questions?
Yeah, definitely some people were confused about the way the coil was wound. In the picture, it looked to be like it was
Clockwise.
Oh,
Yes.
clockwise, yes.
I saw it, but that's anti-clockwise. That's what we tell you. It has to be anti-clockwise. Yes.
Okay, so that one was incorrect, and the picture was incorrect. Is that what you're saying? It should be.
Yes, but it says clockwise, but it's the way you look at it on the other end.
Mr. Keshe,
Question
Yeah.
we can't hear there.
Yes.
this is Kal-El.
Yes.
I had a question about conditioning the houses. One of the things that we were experimenting on was actually swabbing the plug systems around our houses, just to let the nano coating just go through the plug systems that are around the house to start to condition the house.
What do you mean? Can you explain?
We were thinking about nano coating the ground rods, or just taking the plugs out of the walls that are in each room and attaching a nano wire to them, or spraying a cold caustic on the
Is this been done? I've done this 7, 8 years ago. It'll take a long, long time. If you want to know before you start it, is when we used to have the Coca-Cola bottle, I placed wires, 2 meters, 3 meters, half a meter, whatever, and came back to the bottle. Because this was the fastest way, because this was the way I used to nanocoat wires. Bring the 2 ends of the wire, the loop, back into the cola bottle, and you create it. And you find out after something like 30 to 40 centimeter, the process fades out either way. There is a structure that the caustic cannot get through. I added load to it, and I even added a current somewhere to see if the drainage of the currents will bring it up. It doesn't do. With a GaNs material, is when you use the plasma itself, the way it works, as I said before, goes step by step up. And this is what we've seen up to now. Because I have done all sorts of things trying to encourage the coating without taking the wire out of the house. And it seems only works with the plasma from the system, because it's powerful enough to push itself through. The caustic is not powerful enough. And one of the problems you'll find out with when you use the caustic, when it gets to somewhere here, if you take the spin of the plastic off, you start getting grains of salt coming out. The caustic salt builds up through the casing, and then it creates deterioration and all sorts of things. So it's better not to use caustic in the houses to get nano coating. I've tested it, I know it's not a practical way, it's a good way of doing it, but you'll find out if you have any leakage, if there's been a cut somewhere, you start leaking, oozing out salt. So please don't do it that way. That's why using the plasma is much easier. It will do it itself. You don't need to worry about it. All the wires in the house are all connected, one way or another. You have to connect yourself to the plug line or to the load line. If you connect yourself to the plugs, because usually the houses have 2 separate circuits. You have the plug system where you can plug things in, and you have your lighting system and everything else. They go 2 different ways. You have to make sure you get the load in the right way. That's why you need the electrician to know what it's doing. Next question.
Mr. Keshe, John from Canada here.
Yes.
There's been some confusion on some of the chat rooms that I monitor, and people were wondering about if they plug them in, or if they plug the system into between the meter and their fuse box, how they can get a limited load for the conditioning purposes. And the idea that I thought of, tell me if this is reasonable, if you take the maggrav power unit, simply plug it into the wall in your living room, for example, and put the conditioning load on it, the energy that would normally back up into the grid is going to back up into your house and nano coat the wires in your house. So after three weeks or 4 weeks, then you can move it to the other side of your fuse box at that point. Is that correct?
That's correct. This is what I said this morning. That's exactly what I was explaining this morning. You start from somewhere in the house and you load your box. Then it goes back. You should not go up to your fuse box, maybe after somewhere around after your fuse box, after let's say 2-3 weeks minimum, that you have established the nano coating on all the lines internally. This is important. That's what I explained this morning. When you plug it in, you start with the plug-in, and then make sure you plug in the right phase, and then you go back up to what you call the main switch. And this is one of the reasons we haven't seen what we see from the blowing light bulbs and what do you call it, problems with different appliances which are connected to the, what do you call it, the load line. Because by the time you have the 2-3 weeks putting the system back up the plug line, you have already, system has settled down. When you go to the fuse box, system is already doing its own conversion, and it's the safest way to do it. Thank you very much for bringing this up. Maybe if you look at it, it's this way. If this is your fuse box, this is a line to the house, and these are different rooms. Either way you look at it, try to start from the last room. Start from somewhere here, go back to the other one, go back to the other one, go back to the other one, and then connect yourself somewhere by the meter. Build the system up. This is the way it is. You have to condition the house. About at the beginning, the first 2 or 3 days, you have to understand that these units, especially when you start them, there are huge power supplies, there are huge power resources. And then when you are here, start the first day with a small unit, and then let it build up. 2 or 3 units, different things as are shown. And then, what's the problem? So you go backwards. It's not, as I said, people think you go and plug in. Even if you build with the generator unit, you still have the same proposition. The condition is the same. It's at the beginning, the first 2 or 3 weeks when you bear with it, then you don't need to think about it because everything settles in. Everything will be perfectly done. It's just that you have to, what do you call it, walk in through the house, build it up, and then it's done. Maybe we have to make a CD that when we give the units, we give it with the CD, the things you have to do, or ask people to watch something before we go. But we leave it to the people around the foundation to build these things and put it on the internet. But please don't forget to translate the papers very quickly. That by the time the people around the world get it, they know how to use it. Any other question? We have kept to our promise. What do you call it? The blueprint, understanding, using it is complete. Now it's just what we call nitty-gritty, the small pieces to add, to check. And there's a lot of effort has gone over years to get to where you are. Hasn't been easy, but from now on it's not going to be easier. Now the problem starts. This is what I explained. At the moment, this is a honeymoon for the Keshe Foundation. Next week, next 2 weeks, when you start reporting the energy, how you're saving energy, and the energy you're saving on your meters, then other people want to do, they start escalating, building up. Are there anyone who wants to show their system to us today? Vince?
I'm just gonna, anybody on the panelists that would like to show? There's Richard, did you want to show anything? Or Shandor? Or what else might be, maybe Cal L would have something. There's Richard has his picture up there, has his line up here. Let's try that.
Yeah, this is Richard. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, wait, you're trying to share your screen.
Yeah, it's coming
It's
through
up?
here.
Okay, good.
See the screen.
Just wait 1 second, please.
Yeah.
My God, what's happening in there?
Am I making a lot of noise?
No, it's like a hatchery in there.
The coil hatchery.
Not quite a hatchery.
These are GANs coated.
Yeah.
And they're halfway drying now.
Why are they so nervous, shaking so much?
Yeah, I just put it around. I don't have just a sec.
Put a meter on those things. They're probably making all kinds of energy just with them making.
I don't want to put any meter on it, not dictate anything on there yet. I'm gonna grow them when they're together.
Have you made your capacitors?
I'm busy on that, but I was too busy with the kids, so I'm gonna transfer that to tonight or in the midnight. I have to see.
That's one center unit.
Yeah.
How many units have you made?
There are two full sets here in the small arrangement with the 2 millimeter coils wire. Then I have here the larger set now.
My God.
And that was just finished nano coating for the second time. Actually, third time. There was a correction on it. So.
That's really black.
I know. It's really nice. But there's still a little things in there. I have to check it, but looks like it's almost there. So I'll go hang these in a container, and then I'll nano coat them again, but then do more of a steam bath. And then I'll dip it into the GANs paste. And that's this paste. Just a second.
my God. That's about the right thickness.
This works perfectly, yeah. Yeah. When you dip your coils in this, it's really like a film getting on top of the material. So if you take,
you're gonna make sure that you inject this more or less inside your coils, because you already close your coils.
no, when you put it in there, you can just shake it around, and it just the liquid just goes through the coil.
Just be careful. Sometimes it doesn't do.
Yeah, you have to be careful. You really have to see that does that through the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna go all the way through. If you can like inject it through it, that it goes all the way around, you'll find out you don't need a gap, and that takes a couple of days to dry.
Yeah, it takes a long time. I was using a how you call it, a hair dryer to get some heat on there a little bit, like a little bit of air just flowing around it, just preheat it, and then it crystallizes, so it's now almost dry. But I won't connect them yet because they're not dry. So, and the capacitors, I have, well, the GANs there. I'm going to use this GANs. This is the same GANs I used on the coils.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's got to be thick.
And these wires then. And you said to use baking paper, right? Like oven paper.
Oven paper, yeah. That's what we use.
Okay, so this doesn't really take the GANs, so it just stays in between.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just cut a small piece the size of your coil and just roll it on it.
Yeah, and then seal it, or
try to seal your system. Try to seal your capacitor.
Yeah, after you apply the coil, right?
Yeah, yeah. After you finished it with the two lines sticking out, negative and positive.
Yeah, for that I'm thinking to use, where are these? I've got these heat shrink things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna throw that over there and just heat it up, and then it just strings around it.
Ah.
You will still need to put some silicone or something in the ends of the tubing
To close it off, yeah.
It won't shrink right down. They only lose about half their size.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I have to see into that. Yeah, has to close off. So I'll probably fix that on the way. Maybe use some hot glue.
But that also might be a good way to add tension to the capacitor, because the heat shrink too. And when it shrinks down, it is very, very strong, and it puts a lot of pressure on the system.
That's right. Yeah. You've got different qualities. Some really shrink really well, and just I have to see how this reacts. And if I can get a real tight one around it, it's already tight, so it shrinks and it really tense up. Yeah. So I'll try that. I'll be busy on that later on, because I'm just too busy doing other things. So, and I'm not ready with the coils yet either, so I can't fix them together and fire it up. So there's no use to rush things.
You'll be ready by Tuesday, Wednesday?
I'm guessing through the fact that I need to dry a lot of things, I'm going to be probably maybe Sunday, I hope.
We'll see you on Tuesday.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be back on Tuesday to see.
Okay. And do I have more to say? No, I guess not.
No. Okay, thanks very much. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Richard. Problem?
Hey, Richard, this is Keller. I noticed that you had really, really great nano coating. Is there a special process that you have, and how long is it taking you to put that coating on that you have?
Well, when I start the nano coating procedure, after applying the hot water, it already appears in like half an hour, 45 minutes. So, did you hear that?
Yeah, I got you. Thank you.
Okay. And for what the procedure itself, when you use the nano coating, use small containers and make sure that when you do the first time, you have a high concentration of caustic there, and you have a little bit of a bath for the caustic. So, but it's not submerged, but you use a little bit more caustic than the next procedure, and you make sure that everything is just on a pile, nice gathered together. And when you do that first time, you do it after the second, and for the second time you rearrange everything. You put everything upside down and you just rearrange everything, and then make sure that you don't touch the sides of your container. And what you also do then is not only apply caustic, but what I do also is I apply, and I have to show you that. This is a local brand. It's sea salt. It's salt, but it's kalium salt. So that will be KCl. Yeah. So I just splash a bit of that around, and then I nano coat it. Did you get that?
Yeah. How long is it usually from the start of your process until the end of it?
Takes about 3 hours for the first, but I mostly keep it overnight. And then I apply another one to it, but I just keep it for about 2-3 hours. And then I go to the third procedure, I hang them, and then I'll monitor the procedure. So every time when I do the first nano coating, I'll look at the coils and see if there was enough heat, if there was enough caustic there, if the nano coating is proper, if we already have like a good coating, or do we have a lot of holes? Was the material just being covered up and making holes because of touching? A lot of things you look at to monitor your procedure. So you adapt a bit, and then you do it again, correct your mistake, or correct what has been happening there, and then you go on, and then you go into the hanging procedure, where you just keep the caustic there to vaporize and to keep it hot and to maintain a environment where this caustic can actually have a reaction with your coils or your product that you want to nano coat. And you keep monitoring. So it doesn't say you have to do this 5 times or 3 times. It can be done in 1 time if you're doing a hot caustic procedure. Yeah. Did that help?
Yeah, it was perfect. I really would like if you would do a video for the family that I got over here with the group, you know, because you know, every time I seen your coils, man, you know, the problem that we have that I'm hearing pretty much out of all of the group is that they're really laden with a lot of ganses, but their coil making and their nano, they're always talking about the white particles that they have on it. You just have some perfect coils, so I was thinking that maybe you had a different process that you might have done.
What you have to keep in mind is that these coils now in this situation are still wet. So they're still moist. That makes a big difference. So in appearance, so they really look black and no gray stuff and no crystals. But when you have this caustic situation like this, and I keep this way, and it dry up, it will start crystallizing. So you get the white crystals on there. Those are the caustic crystals. Yeah. But for now they're a bit wet, so that makes them appear really black. And it should be like this when you finish off doing the second or third coating. Otherwise, you're doing the thing wrong. and you have to really go into the basics and see, okay, what's in here. I've got the caustic, but I also have a chicken mesh on the bottom that lifts it off from the bottom, so the caustic is not touching it. So it's just above the liquid, and make sure that that is happening, so it's not hanging inside this caustic. So it's close, but not too close. And that you have enough water in there, enough caustic, but that the container is small enough. If you have got a large container, you also have to keep in mind that the temperatures will drop really quickly, so it will not have enough interaction with your coils. Yeah?
Perfect, man. I think you should actually do a nano coating video. I really think you should.
I know. It's coming. I'm busy on that. With the whole coil, the whole system, the whole procedure. Don't worry, it's coming. Just too busy. So excuse me with that. Anybody else questions?
No, I just wait and see on Tuesday if you tell us how much energy you're using.
It's going to be a surprise. I'm going to test it on my whole lab. So
yeah, I think somebody will be very happy in the house.
Oh, she should be happy, right?
Yeah. These calls could be the turning point. You never know.
Yeah. Yeah, it might be. It might be. It should be, right?
Yeah, of course.
That counts for everyone. Thank you,
Yeah,
everyone.
This is to be. Thank you very much, Richard. Okay. Do we have anybody else who wants to show? He's got plenty there. Kevin, how come he's there all the time? Is he? Yeah. Yeah, Kevin used to have Alex's. Yeah. Confused guns. Are there anybody else in the background?
We have Vivek from Singapore. We'll see. He's got his hand up. I'm not sure if he's got something to present. Let's see. Hi, Vivek. I've got you on the panelist now. You can unmute. Ah, here we go.
That one on the top looks like they're heated. These are like caustic.
Can you say anything about that?
You see the way he has already bent all the wires on the end? No, or whatever he wants to use is already done. He doesn't need to do it after they've done the coating. Whatever, you can fill it up, depends on your system, what you set up with it. This is very nice. It'll be amazing. You know, if you had somebody who just happened to pass this, have you seen these guys? They put black rings in and say, very nice, it's very good. This is what it does. Beautiful. They go ring crazy guys. Anything else? I'm sure next week we'll start seeing the fruit of your work.
Will it be open teaching next week too, Mr. Keshe?
Pardon?
Will it be open teaching next week too, like it was this?
Monday I'm not here. The teachers will go on the standard teaching procedure. On Tuesday, what do you call it? We come back and we try to make a whole day blueprint day. And Wednesday, by then most of you should have made your systems. We carry on to see what you show, and then by Wednesday, if you've seen, or Thursday open session we've seen, then we go back to the closed plasma teaching as normal. But it's important that people see, people understand how the system works, how it's set up. And the only thing will change is when they see the result. When a number of you that start reporting, putting it down, showing the video. The way you make your videos when you start doing these things, just start videoing from today. Your meter. The house hardly will make change. You might use some record in 24 hours what you use now till tomorrow, till Sunday, and connect the system, and then start measuring about the average, the same thing in the house. And then you see the difference, you see the change. Do not go and sit and watch it every hour, because you have to see the overall change on the meter, on your consumption. So before today, take a reading of the meter, 2 days, 3 days, by the time you're ready assembled, then you go back with it.
Excuse me for interrupting. Rick, can you move Vivek's phone into the panelist as well so he can speak?
Vince, is the system up and running, the new one? Pardon? Is Renan there? Renan? Hello, Renan. Are you there? Do you see him in the background?
We have we do have Vivek in here now with his phone, so maybe he can speak about that last picture.
Good afternoon, Mr. Keshe. Good afternoon, Mr. Keshe.
Yeah, this is better.
Yes, who's speaking?
This is Vivek from Singapore, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was showing this picture just now. This is a picture of the first round of nano coating complete.
Yeah.
So, but what happened is that the leads at the end of some of the coils, they are not being coated. So what I've done is I've put it in again for a second round of nano coating, but this time it is vapor coating. So what I did is I took 4 bottle tops like this, and I put them at the bottom of the box so that it creates some height. So, and I've also put in the bottle caps in there to give a better nano coating. And what I've done is I put the caustic in and then lowered the mesh onto the bottles. So there's a distance, a bigger distance between the bottom of the box and the wire mesh itself. So now I'm actually doing the nano coating right now as we speak.
You know what's so strange? This is for years. So I know exactly what you're doing, what is there. It's part of the process to do. But something you will learn when you have such a huge amount of material to nano coat, don't forget the process of touching your coils with the 2 sides, 2 ends of a voltmeter. Just put it on a volt measurement and touch one side to a mesh and one side randomly to any of your pieces. You'll find out you'll get perfect, absolute perfect nano coating.
So you're saying do that in between each round of nano coating?
You can do it, or when you drain the water, the first thing you do is to create. But remember one thing. Remember,
yes,
which one is always positive, which one is always negative.
Yes.
And always keep to the same. And one thing you will realize is if you use your meters for nano coating, do not use them for anything else.
Okay,
Because
sir, no problem.
they have both AC, DC voltage through them, and after a while you find out they're useless. So
Yeah,
they're
that's
just
right.
good enough for the thing. I bought so many meters that you buy
In fact,
mistake.
that is what I also encountered, because one of my meters went kaput. So now I'm waiting for another meter to come in. I just ordered it online. It should be in by next week. But I have a temporary meter but the temporary meter, only one problem is that I cannot go to millivolts. This is meant to detect high voltage. So I have no choice but to use that one.
No, because this goes back, especially if you have a place where it's not nano coated, then you touch it, then you have an AC where you put your meter on the DC to measure. This is where
Yes,
the
I put
problem.
the I
You
put
have
the
to be
voltage
very
on the DC. So, okay, that is pretty much all that I wanted to show today. And as you can see in this picture, it has already started the second round of vapor coating. So that is all, sir.
Thank you very much for sharing with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The whole process is one cycle. And in a time, if you can, in so many ways, even nano coat your plates. When you made these, you're going to go to putting them on the plates or somewhere to hold them. Nano coat your container if you can. You will see the difference. You work then totally in a plasmatic condition. This is what I've said to the manufacturers, but these plastics somehow, they make no difference internally if you do them or don't do them. Pardon? No, we use plastic. Plastic, salt plastic. Salt plastic. The inside, all of it, you can do because you're in a nano coated area. Okay. Any other thing to share? Anybody else?
Mr. Keshe, this is Kel again, and I did have one other question for you. It was concerning nano coating. Of some of the episodes that you did in the beginning of the workshops, you alluded to a certain type of way of nano coating for the cup of life. And I've been teaching to women a lot, and one of the things that came up was the cup of life. And I just wanted to know if you could elaborate a little bit on the correct coating that you were doing. And I'm specifically talking about the one when you were talking about you weren't supposed to wash the cup out or do any of that.
What do you mean by that?
In one of the teachings you talked about there was a specific way to do the cup of life on which you got like a white liquid, or it was something along that lines, and it was specific about the specific part about how it was being, your nano coating was going on to the cup of life.
The cup of life has to be nano coated in a very specific way. Actually, as I speak, if you just come to our house, it's been filled up with the rainwater and is sitting on the table. The cup of lives which I use is what is known. I'll teach you something. Those who understand will understand. Those who don't understand, in time you will. The core group members of the knowledge seekers have seen this in the Sansana. The cup of life is what Christ by his name said. This is my body, this is my blood. It means this is my physicality, this is my emotion, what I feel, my existence without physicality. Cup of life has to be made in a very specific order, a very specific gas mixture. You cannot make cup of life by just caustic. This is what I was telling you yesterday. You make different cup of lives for different purposes. I make a cup of life which is universal, and it has a specific order. It sits in 8 cups. It has a center cup, and there is a purpose for it. This is known, if you look at it, the structure itself has a centralized point. You can drink from any of the cups, but then there is a cup which is kept totally from the structure. You never see it, it will not be seen in public. When the core team needs help or they need assistance, they can choose any cup. With that cup to be in the position, they will receive whatever they wish. We never fill the cup of life from the tap water. We always fill it up from the rainwater, because it carries all the energies of the cosmos to the universal level. You never fill up a cup of life with water and you drink it. Otherwise, it's no different. You're still attached. You always drink from the rainwater. If you position it in one certain way, you reach the status of the understanding. You just get enlightened. But it depends how you hold the cup and how you have nano coat the cup. It takes a long time to make a cup of life. And before even you start it, you have to understand there has to be detachment from the physicality of the cup. The cup has different shape and colors, and it chooses itself. And if you look at it long enough, it will become the color of what is needed from the body. When you make a cup of life, before you do it, you devote your soul to it, because it's the savior of your life. It's what you need, and in a specific way, you reach in any state you want to be. "12 cup of life" setting is for the core members, with one in the center.
Mr. Keshe, hello.
Yeah.
Can I ask a quick question? Sorry.
Yes.
I'm from Bulgaria, and we're planning to make a big coil, like a big machine. Let's say 4 or 5 millimeters of copper wire, and do the coils something like 2 centimeters in diameter, or actually more, like 4 centimeters in diameter, so that the whole coil is big, and we won't make 160 but 320 turns or something like this. Do you think that this will work, and like we will make
Why are you going so big?
Why not?
So let us learn from you.
Okay, no, as Pooh the bear said, the bigger the better. So
Yeah, but there is a limitation.
Is
You
there?
can make them the size of a lorry too, but I don't know what's the function of it.
Like, I want to power the neighborhood. That's why.
Okay, show us. It'll be very interesting.
No, we want to experiment, and we have the wire, so why not? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you indeed. Anything else?
Mr. Keshe, this is Vivek again from Singapore.
Yes.
So when you were saying just now about the cup of life that you used to collect rainwater, I was just thinking about something, because nowadays a lot of skies are being chemtrailed, and these chemtrails contain very harmful nanoparticles. Is there a way we can use the nano coating technology and the magravity technology to actually either neutralize or bust the chemtrails that are appearing above us?
I think you must be a newcomer to Keshe Foundation.
A little bit new, sir.
Pardon?
I'm a little bit new, yes.
Yeah. I do not believe in chemtrails because I know what you call chemtrails are. There are systems, there are processes, there are contaminations from the jetliners, but I've seen people having copper trees and copper pipes hanging on the trees, plant pots which is made of copper that they will convert and move the chemtrails. They are very good business, what do you call it, money making, but I don't see it. I've got to explain to you something very simple. If you're worried about the chemtrails, then there must be a lot of hidden jets flying over major cities, because it's the same poisoning as you have in the cities as what you get in the jetliners. People who come up with this chemtrail theory have got no clue about the oil industry. So we leave it to them to be. I'm not a believer in the chemtrail. There are, you see, the vapor lines, but as I always say, you want cheap flight, you got to pay for it. You don't want to pay 3,000–4,000 euro for a flight. You want to pay 200–300 euro. 200–300 euro means more efficient jet engines. It means high efficiency in the oil industry. To be able to produce jet fuel means adding chemicals for you to have the cheap flight. You don't want a cheap flight, you want to go on the cheap. You can go on a, what you call oil tankers, and then you find out they are worse poisoning producing systems than the jetliners. So let's put that aside. If you want to clean up what is in the air as additives, which we put in from the cars or from the jetliners, you come to understand now we have the facility to do it. You don't need like a cup of life. Now, if you understood in the teaching of past few days here, you need to create, you have to analyze what is in the air. You analyze, you create the nanomaterial of the composition, and you create a magnetic gravitational field of it, and you just like a magnet attract it. Iranian nanotechnologists in Tehran Sharif University have already produced these nanolayers for extracting poison from there. They've shown the work of it. And on the other hand, now you don't need nanomaterials. Now you can tune to the magnet of the material which is in the air, and like a magnet, you extract it. It's a fantastic time to come up. You can find people on the ships who travel across the oceans just collecting gold vapor from the water, which is floating. There is more gold in the oceans than in the mines. but it's in a nanoatomic structure. So now you know this. Now you can make one of these plugs to create a gravitational magnet of gold, drag it behind you in oceans, and you just collect kilos of gold. This is what I've said before. This is how wrong information takes over. If you are, and I've mentioned this in one of the workshops, if you've been in the oil industry, you find out there's a part of the residual processing you try to avoid. And this is nuclear materials in fuel. General public is not aware, and it's something because to you it doesn't exist, is that when you go to the fuel stations, when you tank, something sometimes very strange comes from the tank into your car. Uranium and plutonium, especially uranium. We don't clean it. It's something which is not cleaned by most of the refineries, because then you have to get into the nuclear industry and there's all sorts of complication on it. So you turn a blind eye to it as it doesn't exist. If you go nowadays, especially in Western Europe, you want to buy a land, a property which used to be a petrol station, they force you to dig out 4 or 6 meters of the ground to remove any oil contamination. You know why? Because over time, when this building or this farm was a fuel station, and whatever tanks they have underneath, uranium has dripped, and you have a nuclear contaminated land. When you buy a land, industrial land in Europe, now as part of the EU regulation, they ask you to bring a soil sample from the place. And the first thing which laboratory doesn't tell you it tests is uranium content. That's the first characteristic that they check, and they say if the land can be used for building houses or not. Otherwise, you have to dig till the point that no uranium has seeped down. So, I'm just teaching. Oh, in the system. Because I use it, that's my way. Thus, we assume that people understand. That's a blueprint. They'll see in the blueprint. We assume that that's why you said that's why we taught it, plus making it. So, what you talk about is uranium in lands where you fill up every day. Now, is it more poison in the air or is it more poison underground? And the strangest thing is, which they don't tell you, if you're a very logical thinking man, what dripped down, you went in your tank and you blew it in the air. Yes.
You have a magnet on the car, and that's the engine. And you're using plasma as fuel. What happens to the contamination?
It stays in, that is part of the structure. No, it doesn't change. It depends if it's there in what the state is in there. But when you speak about jet liners, if you know what I know, they are perfectly clean compared to what you put in your tank and you blow it down the road every day. Especially If you use marine oil for shipping lines, and there are more pollutant than all the cars put together, we don't even care what's in there. Whatever dug out from the end of the bottom of the pit on Earth, it just blows up everywhere. And you want to know contamination? Then we can speak. I used
Very
to
true,
know.
Mr. Keshe.
Pardon?
This is very true because I see the effects of bunker fuel every single day from my window.
Yeah.
I'm facing the pot literally.
People like Rick have been so much close to this contamination that they become allergic to it.
Yes, indeed, it's the worst problem in my life. My skin actually starts bleeding with a single drop of oil gets on it now.
Now, when people start talking about chemtrail, the chemtrails are as dangerous as global warming. If global warming exists, so does chemtrail. And I tell you one thing, I used to be in the oil industry for a long time. We've seen a lot of SGS reports. Every time you tank, every time you agree to ship, or you buy a shipload, you want an SGS report. It's the only thing, it's the only Bible anybody works on. This is an independent organization certifying what's in the cargo and what is the content of your oil. Because according to the content, you choose the refinery. Because not every refinery is tuned to refine all the oils. They have a filtering system. And in that process, when you read your report, you see the things which you don't want to even believe exist in the world in the oil we handle. We get a full analysis. You pay sometimes 2,000–3,000 euro for 5–10 minutes of a job guy to measure it, to give you the measurement. And everything is in it. You got to understand, when the oil, now that we know the oil is created from the top layer, and as you've seen it here, this is oil. Oil will never finish. The oil which created on the land or in the seas, they walk their way into the ground to a point they cannot penetrate anymore because the molecular structure is too big to go through. So they start gathering in a point. When the oil, amino acid has been through, here is copper, zinc, plutonium, uranium, based over, whatever. By the time they go through, they wash themselves in it. When they get here, they have everything in it. When we extract oil, everything comes up. Then we don't have a choice. If anybody tells you there is no uranium, and we even have seen plutonium of a high grade refined in oil because you think somebody is putting refined material, it's part of the cycle of composition. This is what happens. Don't forget, there is no difference with the oil you connect to the bottom and good morning fly. And the same thing happens in our little friends, as I explained before, it's the sheep. When you have the sheep grazing on the ground, he does the same thing. Oh, whatever is on the ground is absorbed into the skin. And when you clean and wash the sheep wool, I tell you one thing, because I've been on both ends of it, you see more or less the same product on the top and the bottom. So then we wash it because it's money. Some specialize in extracting gold from this. Some people specialize in extracting gold from this because the gold dust is everywhere. When the ship raises, lands, it's got a fat, all the dust sticks to it. Everything is in there. Actually, as I explained before, there is no money in the meat. If they don't sell the meat for the sheep, they have so much leftovers. There is, in some cases, you sell the carcass for 50, let's say. The wool might give you 20, 15 sometimes. The residue of the dirt can sometimes create you $100. Depends where the ship comes from, where it's been raised. You buy wool from sheep from Siberia and Kazakhstan border, they're worth a lot of money because land is extremely rich with rare earth material. So it's the same at the bottom. People, a lot of you don't know a lot of things, but in the commercial world, when people start talking about the chemtrails, nanotechnology is there to do it. Now you have a plasma technology, which nanotechnology is obsolete with it, but this is what you have. Next time you tank your fuel, just ask yourself a simple question. Am I carrying any plutonium or am I touching uranium? Go to a property, say I want to buy a petrol station. And then to buy the petrol in Europe, you have to do it now. And if you want to buy, they ask you, you have to have a certificate for the land that is clean. You cut a piece of land, you get it to a laboratory, 99% there is uranium in it. But public will know. Because in refining process, it's something you don't want to do. Then you have all the nuclear industry inspectors in and the rest. You close your eyes, let it go through. It's a decision making between profit or getting entangled in a lot of things. Some refineries work to extract uranium because they have isotopes which they need. There are a lot of isotopes we look for in oil. Depends, there are specialists in every aspect. But next time, don't speak about the chemtrail. They are the cleanest thing which is coming on the back of something, and we put it in there, we know exactly what comes out. Oil industry, motor car industry, and marine industry, we don't know what comes out of the end. Next question.
Hi, Mr. Keshe. Good afternoon. Here is again the nastiest Ludmila in the world.
I don't know. This is what you like to be known as, but you're one of the nicest guys I've known.
I don't know. I have a kind of a longish question. Actually, question is short, but the story is long around. You said these power supplies are nano coating the wires. And in most of the world, wherever the wires are connected, they are just twisted. And if that twist nano coats, that means there is a big resistance in the twist. So as soon as you detach the power supply and apply the standard AC around, that means there is gonna start and the fire is gone. The house is gonna catch a fire.
You can start any room as you like.
No, I mean, at some point, maybe somebody is gonna disconnect that power supply.
We have disconnected the power supply, nothing happens. This is what we call a scaremongering. Nothing happens because you nano coat and the lines are nano coated. People have taken it off, they've taken it from brother's house to sister's house. You take it out, you put it back in. There is no such thing because you're dealing with plasma. You're not dealing with matter. If it was a short circuit, yes, nanomaterials transfer their energy across, because don't forget when you take it out, the line is already nano-coated. The house is nano-coated. The energy is gravitational magnetical. It is not a current that it can create fire.
But when you take it off completely, you need to start again to use the standard AC.
Doesn't matter. It's a standard AC still going through. I think this is what you don't understand. Let's explain it. The standard AC is going when you have a resistive unit, because you still pay, where is it, 40% or whatever percent of the electricity you use. AC is continuously flowing because you've got a matter state. So nothing has changed. The only thing you're going to have is a fantastic nano-coated system, insulated completely. So even if you have a problem with your plastic coating, now you have insulated it. Actually, it saves you from any possible shortcuts.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other question? Is the blueprint up yet, or are you still waiting, Vince? Hello?
Not sure if Vince is here right now, or
is he there?
Oh, there he is. He's
Is it up? Have you received the package from work? Okay, thank you very much. Any other question?
There's a question on, somebody had a question from the first session today, and it was regarding the thermal overload protection. And Eugene was asking, will a freezer thermal overload protection work? In other words, there's the
overprotection loading is just by heating, because the only thing will happen, the copper gets heated, and we have put a 55-60 degree circuit breaker that if you overload it, the supply cuts off, and you see your heater doesn't work, and then you go back to it, let it cool down, reconnect it, or take the load you had off it. You'll find out if you start adding small loads that you can nano coat more, and then with the cascading, you can carry on increasing the load application on the system. At the beginning, you can't do, but as you increase the nano coating and the power supply freedom, you'll find out you can do more and more loads, heavier loads.
So for people making their own supplies, power supplies, they might want to use that circuit breaker.
You need it.
Right.
You need the circuit breaker. You need a thermometer circuit breaker that measures not the current, because which current are you going to measure? The DC which is flowing or AC? So the easiest thing, circuit breaker, you need the what do you call temperature circuit breaker.
Right, thermal.
Yeah. Pardon? It's just the heat. As it's 55 degrees, the circuit breaks. It's not a high current, it's just a temperature measurement.
Okay, that's good information. Thanks for that question too, Eugene.
Just
It's
to give
less than 50 cents, they're very cheap pieces.
Yeah.
Hello?
Just to give a hint, most vacuum cleaner motors are under-designed, and they have such a thermal switch. So if it runs 5 minutes or 10 minutes and it heats up, it switches off. It starts when it cools again.
So we don't use the vacuum cleaners.
Yeah, the component is available everywhere. It's easy to get.
Ah, okay. Any other questions or any other comment?
I'd have a question.
Yes.
Because I have seen different versions of these drawings, so until you get the final version.
The final version is getting loaded.
Yes, I'd like to ask you, I've seen two versions for how to interconnect the coils. In the Keshe Foundation Philippine version, it goes on the gravitational coils clockwise and on the magnetical coils anti-clockwise. And in the Keshe Foundation Brazil's drawing, all connections are following a stream on
anti-clockwise. Yes.
So which is
yes.
Which is the right one?
We do the anti-clockwise, which is done. You have to ask all the coils have to be anti-clockwise.
I don't mean the twist of the coil, but the direction of entry point, exit point, how they are connected together. Which
yes, you do. No, there are two different things we are talking about. The coils are anti-clockwise, but
correct.
The gravitational connections are clockwise. The magneticals are anti-clockwise. So this is the black one in the center is your gravitational. You go clockwise. You go to the next one. You go clockwise.
Just a minute, we're missing that, Mr. Keshe. Sandor, can you stop the screen share so we can see the? Oh, I think you did that.
What happened?
Oh, that didn't work.
Rick asked me to stop the screen share.
Sorry, I guess you have to keep the screen share up, but okay, I guess he's marking it and we can see it that way. Just can't see him. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, so this is not there. Your coils are all anti-clockwise when you wind your coils. But when you do your assembly, this here, I have to, the size of my pen, you got to lift it up. Ah, you want there, okay. The coils, when you connect, can you go black? Choose a black color, please. Okay. The coil you choose, it's not going. It's okay, no problem. You go your gravitational. You go gravitational. You go magnetical. No, I want, okay. So you go magnetical, and then you go magnetical outer, and you come out.
So the smaller diameter coils are connected one after the other in a clockwise direction, and the thicker coils, which we call magnetical, go just anti-clockwise.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's how it should be. That's how it's done. Then you have the bottom of your coils are both anti-clockwise when you wind them. They all go that way. When you look at it, they go this way. Can we take this color off? Can you clean it? Take all of it off. All the whatever. Here more. More. Okay. Okay, that's perfect. Thank you very much. So what you have is your coils are anti-clockwise. And don't forget, when we speak about the connection, we look at the effects. We don't look at the winding of the copper. We look at the effect of interaction of the gravitational magnetic field. This is what I was explaining yesterday. you are continuously looking for mechanical look of it. We look for the field interaction of it. So, if you look, this is the beginning of your magnetical, gravitational. So, you go through. You come to gravitation of this point. Can you give me another color, please? Red is good. And then now you go here, gravitational. When you come out, can you give me another color? Yeah. Then you go to the magnetical. And magnetical is anti-clockwise. So here. Yes? Another color. Here you go magnetical, anti-clockwise, and you come out. So can you give me another color, please? Okay. Yellow. So this is your beginning to your gravitational central, and there are the two lines you have. In fact, if you want to really look at it, this has to be turned upside down. Then you see it. And then what you do, you connect this here to the negative of the next system. And then you connect this one, if this is your center plate, give me a color. Thank you. You connect it to the positive of the other system. There is something you got to understand. In design, some designs, we look at bottom layer top, and Philippines sometimes has worked with their designs, top layer bottom. This is what we know, because when I designed our end in our work, we went bottom up. And then, but they worked, I worked up, down, they worked up, top up, and then we had to change it that all the designs go the same, and it created a confusion in design somewhere. Because if you have your bottom tack here, you're coming in, I went that way, and they went this way. It was, and then that's where the confusion is coming. It's just too many things. It was trying to get things through to 100% working. Yes, no problem. Any other question?
Well, there's always an interesting question, a curious question.
Rick says goodness interesting, it means problem.
Well, he's anonymous says, curious question. Once you guys finish your spaceship, will it be open to all humans to explore space?
Pardon?
He says, once you guys have finished your spaceship, will it be open to all humans to explore space?
To the nice ones, yes. As I told you, you will understand very soon. It took us to go step by step. It's taken us less than 3 months in this building, more or less, to bring the breakthrough we were waiting for to do, that we had a freedom. And now that we have broken through, you start seeing everything which we have told you, because now there is no limitation. As I said, I even read in past few hours today, there are a number of governments who dismiss the technology, and they see the scientists behind the line are working. You thought you're doing making system. You got to know what's happening in energy ministries around Europe and in North America. You people are making few coils. Governments are building, they are testing, and I tell you one thing, they know where it's coming. We get reports, we understand what's going on. In the background, a number of European energy agencies have been sitting with you lots since Monday. And their nano coating is much better than you lot. They already know the test result. And if you like, we can give you the results from some of those laboratories as well. So don't be fooled, they didn't turn up in that ministerial meeting. All the EU countries are fully fast testing systems. So we shall see next week. If you're a good person, you fly. And if you think you're a good person, you come to the system, you say, no, I don't want to fly. And I've explained this why. You will not be able to breathe. The breathing is your biggest problem because you're conscious, your emotion knows your intention. It's like choking. Have you ever suffered from claustrophobia? You feel it. You won't be able to walk in it because your emotion, your intentions are wrong. It's the best deterrent. You're hung by your noose of your own emotion, and now you realize what's going to happen. I told you, same as these, the systems are not just for you energy and magnetic field. It carries the emotion. It's both magnetical, gravitational, and just have a look. What did I tell you just now? What did I tell you? The system is upside down. Your emotional part, your physical part. One day you understand where I've got you, and you still haven't seen it. You cannot misuse this system, even if you try to burn somebody's houses down, it turns out to be a flower. Matter systems will do. If you look, the way I explained this to you yesterday, and you just missed it. Look at the stacker unit. You change physicality. I explained yesterday to you. You connect it to the main. You go through the emotional part. You go to the what they call the soul part, the higher order, and you take. From here, you go back to create matter state. So this is what it is. This is the most complicated, simplest way gravitational magnetic fields interact. As I told you just 2 minutes ago, these systems drawn upside down. The emotion has its own gravitational magnetic field independent. The physicality has got its own independent gravitational magnetic field. And what it gives from its gravitational, it adds to the magnetic. How many times we have drawn this? The gravitation. You will find out something very strange. I've seen it, I hear it, but I ignore it because I know, because if I say it creates other problems for other people. in the houses where you will start using these magnet powers, you will find people getting very honest. People, behavior will change. Because you remember you put an orange on top of the cup and you had the taste of orange because of the field. Now you can see the balanced field. Lying in the houses which these things work become actually horrible. People will tell you, come outside, I want to speak to you, not in this house, because in the house I can't lie. And I've seen the result of it in 2 or 3 families now. But I don't say anything, because if you say, it brings peace. You got to understand how the society at the present creates little headaches, concerns, that when you put it together, it becomes a very big concern, even in the house. Now, this is one step which you take away. Have you ever just look what's going to happen? In the next 2 or 3 months, you put these things in your houses, you just forget even to put the light out. Because it's there, it'll be there forever. Now think, what that little light for years has been in the back of your mind. How much energy? It's like a fibromyalgia in little places taking energy. Or have you switched the light off? It costs money. It's did I switch the light off? How many times you got up and you gone downstairs? If I left the light on, by tomorrow morning, I don't have to pay the bill for it. All these little nags, which fills the cup of anger, will disappear. You do not understand how man has conditioned himself to suffering and have accepted the suffering. And then it's affected his performance, his way of thinking. Now, you can use as much energy as you like. You don't have to worry. It's not just the financial, where we show 2,000 euro, 2,500 euro family saving. It's the comfort. How many times you parents, it's a weekend, it's a holidays, you want to take the children to the sea. You think, how much fuel do we have? Do I have the money to pay for the fuel to take them to have pleasure? How much you suffered not being able to give a child something because you have to calculate the fuel to the work. Now it's not there. It's a pleasure. We all go to the beach because you can use as much as fuel as you like. You can drive the whole earth as many times as you like. And these are little things which is going to change. When you don't have that pressure, instead of saying, "Darby, switch the light off," you say, "Hi, darling, it's the house warm." Instead of, "We can't go anywhere for ice cream because no fuel in the car," or "We go for 2 ice creams because there is no fuel cost." Very interesting will be if the wage payers will start reducing people's salary because now they don't have to pay for the heating and the lighting. Or they say, "Okay, we keep the wages the same. Now it's a pleasure for you. How about you have extra?" The change, this thing will change the society beyond your recognition. I just need time. I waited 40 years. Another 3 or 4 weeks or 3 months, 4 months is nothing compared to what's to come. Because now you have it. You wanted everything. It has everything. And pleasure enough, it brings a lot of love and care. Because now a lot of nagging things is not there. "You're hungry, darling. We don't have food tonight, but I put a bottle of water near. It absorbs some energy. At least you drink the water, but you're not hungry tonight." Don't forget, when you put a collection of these together near each other, and you put the water in, it's absorbing energy equal, you made it of the copper. Copper is tissue muscle of communication of the body of the man, of the red flesh. When you go to sleep, why do you go to physical sleep? For that to recover the physicality. And you put a cup of water in there, you drink it. You repair, you get enough energy for the red muscle tissue to repair itself. Because you nano-coated it with CO2, you nano-coated it with copper oxide, is emotion and your energy. So the water you put around is your food. We tested it here last week with the almond. Is there any more water left on the floor? The ladies were talking about it last night. What are those bottles on the floor in the lab? Would you like to give it to them, almond? You did? So now you got to understand how things change. If we tell you everything in one go, then you go, the guy's crazy. But now you go crazy with the things you can do with it. It will change. I just need time. My time, as the guy wrote to me, your time is ticking. My time has started ticking the day I was born, billions of years ago, and I'm still here. Is it finished, Vince? Hello? Anybody awake in Vancouver?
Yeah, sorry, I just had to find that other mute button. It's behind about 50 windows. I'm just working with Renan right now. We've got 2 of the files up, so we'll be up really shortly.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you ask Renan if he can give you the picture of the connection on the manifold of the car? It's a proper picture. It's a full picture of the connection for manifold of the car as well, please.
I'll share the screen, sir.
Okay, but put it on the blueprint, please.
It's with Vince already.
Okay, thanks very much. Any other question while they're getting the thing done in the background?
Mr. Keshe, this is John from Canada again. I'm going to be building systems for mobility scooters. They are purely electric devices to help the old folks get around. Would the connection be very similar to the car system, where one would the positive end of the reactor go to the battery and the negative end go to the case of the motor?
It doesn't go. Have a look at it. It goes on the air vent conduct. You have a look at it.
There is no air vent. These are purely electric vehicles.
I don't know. You most probably got to connect it to the bodies, the chassis.
Okay, it would be very similar to your electric motorcycle, that orange scooter you had in the lab.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Shankara asked, I love the talk about prophets yesterday. Could Mr. K give some more precisions, like will we be able to manifest the divine will with these units?
What is the divine will? The divine will is when it's correct with justice and everything is hunky-dory, as you call it in English. When there is justice. And this is you know, let me explain to you something. Last year we said to you, we have systems that people, soldiers, terrorists, or whatever will even forget that they have why they're carrying arms. This situation, when we deliver 1,000 units to Palestine, you will start seeing why and how. It'll be very interesting to see the situation there. And then you understand that's the whole purpose. You call it divine, whatever, is loving and wanting to give a love which is equality to a full family. And that's what you call whatever name you want to put into it. You can give and you can take. There is no limitation in what you give or what you take, but is what is accepted. That what accepts allows you to take equal from. You can give as much as you like. You can throw as much rice on the floor. If there is no bird to come and eat it, it's just rice on the floor. When the bird comes and takes the rice, it's the satisfaction to your soul that you served the hunger of the bird. That's why we feed animals. That's why we live. And that's what is called. For me to take pleasure if I'm allowed to receive it. Then you understand exactly what divinity is. Not I give and I put there, it has come, I fed the bird, thank you very much. Aliza was so kind that I fed the bird. Is what the bird gives, that it shows unconditionally that you have served your purpose. You got to understand something. Human creation, human life is nothing but the stepstone to freedom of the energy, what you call the soul. You're born from the mother, physical, to the entity, to give life, to emotion, that with it to give life to the soul. That soul is a copy in dimension and the strength as of the Creator. That's why you are blind to what is above from this below point. Any other question?
Yeah, Mr. Keshe, this is Kal-El again. I had a question about the private online classes. I've really been teaching pretty much out of the public workshops, but it's a lot of people that I'm dealing with over there, especially some of the guys that had all of the Gants. We really want to know. We really want to know more, and I feel like I'm hindered because I can only teach really 1 day a week, and I wanted to teach more.
What's your problem? You want to get access to private online teaching that you can teach?
I would like to teach every day if I could, sir.
Send your application form to Sandor. We give you free access to all the teachings.
I think he already has it, but yeah, I pretty much wait.
If you are using, if you are going to use the teaching online, which is €1,000 per year to access to it as a student, but you're going to use the teaching online to teach to others, we give you total free access. And I hope you use it wisely. So that's a gift from us to you because I've seen what you've done.
It's Sandor here. Phoenician, I request you to send again your application, but this time please don't misspell 2 times in 2 different ways your name, just to write it as you would have it on an official document. In that case, you have no problems.
So, Sandor,
yeah. I got 2 applications. Sorry, I got 2 applications, and the name was totally differently written in both. So people don't change every hour their name. So that was the reason for his application.
If you got his application form and it fits your security check, switch on the system for him freely because he uses it to teach, and that's why we are here.
Okay.
Mr. Keshe, could you explain how it works as far as using the material from the online teachings outside of the online teachings for others and so on? How freely can that be used?
the phrase freely do not copy. Understand it and teach your understanding.
Okay.
Don't become a copycat, just copying something. Try to understand what is taught and then teach your own way. That's how we evolve. That's how what we understand comes in. Otherwise, it becomes very much communist, left, right, right, left, and we have to march down the same line. There is no two similar snowflakes on this planet, no two similar stars in the universe. So everything is slightly different, and that slight difference gives the beauty to it. So don't mistake what you hear, see how you analyze it, and teach your understanding. Then we have served our purpose. It's not, as I said, we are the only institute. We give masters, but there are no exams, and it's driving the Italian education system up the wall. How can you teach and not to examine? I said, I examine in 20 years' time. You don't know what they come up in 20 years' time. Then we know they passed the test or not, not today by writing a paper. This is, at the moment, I've been to a number of educational meetings in respect to the position of the foundation and teaching. How can you not exam? I said, do you want to prove you've been a very good dictator, or do you want to know you pass the knowledge that will be used one day? And I haven't seen anybody answer. We think about it, we'll let you know. So when you listen to the teaching online, extract from it what you understand, plus the knowledge and experience you have, and put in your own language. Don't copy and go through verse by verse. If you are teachers, and we can see your math teachers, the educational line, the €1,000 is waived. We've done this before. There are students around the world who want to be students, and we know a number of them. We just waiver it. To us, it's a button on the wall. On the other hand, these finances the work of the foundation, the team behind it, and the rest. Every person you see on the line, working in the background, arranging things, they're all paid, and we pay one of the best wages standard around in the technology. We don't snitch and dodge. There's a limit we pay, and most of the educational fees goes for these kind of operations, paying for the premises like this, which we don't own, and to have such a prestigious places, you have to pay top values to be in it. But if you're a teacher and you can teach, or you just want a free ride, we give you a free ride, but if you don't use it to teach, then you have, in a way, taken from your own soul. That's the way I look at it. But people like you, I've seen you done yesterday and the way you are doing, we have to support you that you can teach not 500, maybe 5,000.
I make you proud, Mr. Keshe.
You don't need, make a promise to your soul. You don't need to make any promise. I've seen what you've done and it's beautiful. I hope we can use it in a better way to make it much more deeper, that we can change the understanding. You have to know what I know, or you understand what I understand when I see a Black American. I have a lot of respect for you, but people, society doesn't look that way. But, and you all know, you have the freedom, and in any shape or way we can support you. Our Keshe Foundation is open to you. You've done a beautiful job.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
You're welcome. Any other question? The way I look at it, maybe it's the way I've worked around the 30 years around the international world. There's been as much injustice to Black Americans as has been to the Black in Africa. So it doesn't make any difference. Either way, we can help you to bring you up to the level that we all stand equal That's our job.
Mr. Keshe,
Yes.
I just wanted to say that I love you, man. I love you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Keshe, I'll share the how to connect to the vehicle.
Yeah. Can we have the screen share, please?
Go
Okay.
ahead, Brenda.
Sharing.
We'll go on the screen.
Yes.
Where is Fabio? Smoking. He wants to kill himself so young.
Okay.
Oh, Fabio!
Can you see the screen?
Yes, okay.
This is the option 2, how to connect to the, again. Wait. Okay. The another option to connect your mag-grab power in your car. So from your battery connection, you have from your mag-grab power, you have a positive and a negative lines. So the positive line goes parallel to the positive connection, and the negative line goes to the intake manifold grounding point at the top of the engine, and also an extension to the back of the car. There's a lock screw there. You can have another grounding point. So this will close the circuit because the starter motor ground connection is connected to the negative of the battery. So as you can see, this setup will create a plasma loop in your engine and car body,
Very inefficient.
making your car
Inefficient.
front as field exit and the rear as field entry. And the rest is for you to discover what happens to your car. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, but depends where you push the plasma. We are not looking for connection, just a connection. We are looking for where we can convert the energy of the plasma. Yeah. The positive is connected to the battery.
Yes, but from the battery, it goes to the starter. And so the request is from the starter. From the stick, I think that the power magnet is better configured in the other line.
Which other line?
Between the battery and the starter.
You can, no, we put it there, there is a reason for it. You don't put it between battery and the starter. The plasma has to go the way it is, because you'll find out your battery becomes part of your power supply. This is a continuous GANs, sorry. This is how, you can try any direction, but the whole point is to create the energy here, conversion, using the plasma.
So you have to run a separate negative starter body because it's already grounded from the air.
It doesn't matter. To me, I put it on top of the shock absorber. When I took the engine out of the car 6-7 years ago, to me is irrelevant, because in fact you don't need any of these. We took the engine out, we took the starter motor out. To me, you need a position where your wheels are here to create plasmatic pressure, like the plasmatic pressure on the planet creates the rotation of the planet. To me, having even this is too, but this is the way you want to work with it. If you take the engine out, you take a starter motor out, you use the plasmatic pressure, you use the battery as a buffer zone, more or less. And then you connect it to the other side where the battery comes, that the plasmatic force creates rotation in the car. I took even the transmission part out. There was nothing there. I have no fuel tank. I have the key. I'll show you exactly. It's totally empty. To put it where you want to create the pressure point. So if you come usually to the battery on one side, you try to access the next point of contact should be crankshaft, you call it. Yeah, where you take it out and you connect it to the wheels of the car. It creates a field pressure. The two try to interact. You got to realize something. When you come this way, you come very powerful. When you come through the body and the connection, you come weaker. You create plasmatic change because it's in the structure of the matter. Instead of getting a AC power, you get the rotation in the wheels. In a way, you can use the back of the wire. You see, can I go to the screen, please? You got to understand how my thinking is. I can be 100% wrong as usual. But the biggest mistake I made, I was born in the body of a man. So you have your unit, it creates it, you have your wheels, you want to create from your unit, battery being included in it, you want to create a point that the other side which comes in, the difference is that the two cannot meet. This has already become weaker. This is a direct supply to the leg, and the interaction happens inside the body of the driving wheel. It pushes itself. It's beautiful when you see it, and then you will see the system, because of not being able to do, it creates a gravitational magnetic, and the car just lifts. You heard people who have these things in their car, they talk about steering becoming very easy. Yes? Yes?
You have a question there?
Just curious, how did you control the movement of the car?
We have no gearbox. We have only wheels, and if you look at the pictures, they're built to have little hair dryers because you just lift enough. I asked the Belgian authorities if I can test my car down the motorway. They said no. Okay, is the blueprint done now? Vince? Hello.
Okay, yes. So you can go to keshefoundation.org/magravs, and it'll take you to the blueprint site where we also have the documents available in a PDF form of what we were showing you before in pictures. There are the updated versions as well. We're also getting the notes and warnings site up as well there, so everything will be in one central location under the blueprints.keshefoundation.org site. Everything
Okay. Can you show us the plates, please? In your blueprint, there is 3 yellow plates where the coils sit on. Can we have that one, please?
Let me go to the site and get them.
Can we have the full screen? Okay. There are 2 pictures of yellow trays in there somewhere. Where is it? forward slash Magrav. Magravs.
It looks like them there.
Keshe Foundation Blueprint website. There we are. It's go back up. Well, we are not at the Zoom. Where are we? You went into. You're there. Your Zoom is there. Here. You're on the teacher camera there. Okay. Oh, there it is. This is the, actually, is a dinner plate. It's stacked up. You see the bottom is gravitational, the top is magnetical with a stopgap. And you see the magnetical coils. You see all the folding, the twists.
Are those plates too close together?
They have to be, it's no problem, because you've got to look at the distance between the center coils.
So the distance, the diameter of the center coil would be the distance from the upper and lower plate, correct?
Pardon?
The diameter of the center coil would be equivalent to the distance between the upper and lower plate, correct?
Yeah, because you have to sit, because you rotate the fields.
Okay, when you were describing it the other day, it appeared that you were saying that the diameter of the coil, the inner coil, was the distance between each plate.
No, it's between the coil. The center of this coil to that coil, if you get that radius, you have it exactly where it sits here.
Okay.
They sit inside each other.
Okay, so for clarity's purposes, the diameter of the inner coil is the height of the entire stack, the distance between the top and the bottom plate.
Pardon?
So for clarity's sake, the diameter of the inner coil is the height of the entire stack, the distance
More
between
or less,
the bottom
yes.
plate. Okay,
More or
thank you.
less. Because don't forget, your center coil becomes the star and you have a star inside it. This is what I call plate of life. You can bring every energy you need in that. To me, I don't think in a structure where you don't use so much energy, you need. But in the coming time, you understand why we use this tree. I'll teach you what is about to come from these 3 plates. These 3 plates, the way they're set, and we show you the things you can do with it. This is very much like, in the long run, when we start manipulating it, it's like a brain. Then you use it to move the arm, you want to move the leg, you want to run the heart. Depends how you use it, you can change. In the next few weeks, when we start teaching you, you understand. Don't look at these rings in one thing. They're built for there to do energy. You got to understand what you can do with them. Every inner ring, every outer ring, every ring on each plate will perform a miracle. Look at how many combinations you have. 2 and 2. And then you have the combination with a field transfer between them. And you have gate 4, then you have this one to the top one. Understand why and can control every organ of the body. And then how in interaction in different coils, the measure of different coils. If you go back, we showed the opening of this place, which was hit by Mark with the balls. Now, for the see, fix the structure.
Your sound is breaking up there, Mr. Keshe.
Jetzt ist er weg. Jetzt ist er ganz weg.
Okay, for the people on live stream, it appears we've lost the connection with the Keshe Foundation briefly. Bear with us as we try to reconnect.
Is it downstairs? Hello?
Okay.
Maybe in the lab.
Hello, Mr. Keshe, we can hear you now.
No,
Oh, it's breaking up again.
are we back?
No, your sound's breaking up badly.
Yes, we are here again.
Okay, yeah.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now, Mr. Keshe.
You're back. Any questions, or is there anything you want to show more of the blueprint? Now we promised you, we deliver our promise. And we showed you how to do it too. This is what I say. I challenge any institute to come and share their findings like this.
Mr. Keshe, a question just came in from Vivek. Something interesting, something I thought of too. The central GANs in the system, the little central sun that you add, is its shape matter? Does it need to be a sphere, or can it be just a flat disk?
To me, we made it like a ball. Because the easiest way, the structure is that way.
Okay.
Are you there? Hello?
I don't think Vivek is got his mic on, but I'm sure he can hear you.
So you decide. You can even leave it empty. You don't need it. But when you do it, it's better to follow the shape. If you can make it the same height, it will be even better.
The same height as the coils.
Yeah.
Ah.
Keeping homogeneous system, that's what it is.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. You're back. What happened suddenly? We ran out of energy? Any other questions, or shall we call it a day?
Hi, Mr. Keshe. Here's Peter from Austria. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I was wondering, a lot of us have not enough of these copper guns. So if we would just buy some copper oxide and throw a little bit of NaOH over it and boiling water, would this be then something to substitute the normal copper guns?
I don't think so. Maybe yes, but I don't think so. We've done that with titanium powder.
Yes, yes.
We've done that with titanium powder. If you're short of copper GaNs, you can produce huge amount of copper GaNs in a very simple way.
Yes.
Don't look for copper plates. All the spare copper wires you have around the house,
Yeah.
connect them to one piece, connect 1.5 volt, am I correct? And to the other side, 1 amp, and you find out all the spare wires, coppers, they start becoming copper GaNs.
Oh, fine.
Easy.
Oh,
You
wonderful.
can salvage your spare copper wires around the house.
Okay.
Thank you.
We will try. Thank you very much.
This is what
Okay.
we do in the factory.
Yes.
Factory,
Okay.
this is how we produce continuous different kind of aluminum, zinc, copper. We just connect it to the very low voltage and very low amperage, and you can produce it very easily.
Wonderful.
And then mix them. And what to do is try to get as much as you can water out and leave it for a day or two that the gas becomes oxidized.
Okay. I will do. Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can produce 3-4 kilos of GaNs a day. That's what we do in the factory.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Mr. Keshe. Thank you.
If you find brass is very hard, but if you can get a brass and do it, is one of the best composites. You have 3 or 4 instead of we're looking for copper, try to make a GaNs from brass.
Okay.
What's
Yes.
his name? Alex does that a lot.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other question?
Hello, Mr. Keshe.
Hello, who's that one?
Hey, this is Emilio from Taiwan.
Hello, Amelia.
Hi, I have a question. Last Thursday in the Knowledge Seekers workshop, you mentioned that we could use vegetation like palm trees or vines or things in nature to make a power unit. I was wondering if we need to put GaNs on it since vegetation is GaNs itself, or do we need to coil it, or how will we create this? Thank you.
Interesting enough, this morning I was listening to somebody, and it was interesting to see how the vegetation make their coils. And he showed me beautiful pictures, and I thought how two men can think the same way. Last week, couple of weeks ago, we were talking about it, and he's been a long time fascinated by it. And he was showing me things, and I said, bless your soul, man. The way you share knowledge so, and it's there, but it's thinking the same. If you look, I told you the roots of the trees. If you look into the spine of palm trees, if you look what I was showing this morning, the twist on the, you've seen the legs the plants make to reach each other like a vine. It's a natural coil. It's a GaNs coil. Nature does it, but you got to see how to do it, or find a way you can twist the threads together and wind it the same way. You can hollow roots and use them. If you can find soft roots, hollow them, and then embed in them another root, thinner root. The plants do that quite often. Then you have a natural GaNs. You don't need to GaNs coat it, you don't need to nano coat it.
And Mr. Keshe, can I connect the vines or the vegetation to the copper wire to go to the grid? Would it conduct electricity or
No,
would it?
no, that is a different way. No,
Okay.
no. But you can use certain routes for the connections. That is because it's very easy, but you have to know what you're doing, and I've got to keep them very moist in a specific way.
Okay. I'll experiment. Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Yes, let us know, because I've done a few. Most of the time you fail, but when you succeed, you thank God for seeing it.
Okay, I will definitely share with everybody.
Thank you
you,
very
Mr.
much.
Keshe.
Yes.
I was just wondering, is the spiral with anti-clockwise, is that because anti-clockwise is like anti-matter?
No, it's just the way the field pressurized. It's just the way the field pressurized the matter. Any other question?
Well, we can go on for quite a while here.
Okay,
Maybe
we bring it to an end. Is it 5 o'clock yet? 6. Oh God. Okay, no problem. We started on Monday, 10 o'clock, to fulfill our promise, to deliver the blueprint, to teach the blueprint, and I think in so many ways we have succeeded. It's now in your hand to take it further and to show us new ways, but I emphasize again, on Tuesday and Wednesday, we come back to see what you have made from what we thought and from the blueprint. And after that, if you've been around Keshe Foundation, you know we do not work with nanomaterial and the GANs and the rest of it. We work with plasma without any matter existence. This is the level we work here at this time, and you don't see any of these things around us. We've gone to the step, instead of creating, using to use the plasma, we use existing plasma, which is our own body plasma, to create the fields and the conditions we are going. A few of the knowledge seekers will move on, and a few will stop because they cannot complete it, because they want to still work in a matter state. But here, the knowledge seekers tell you, we are working only in a plasma condition. We don't bring any screws, no ties, no plates, no nanomaterial. This is the ancient, but this is what was needed to bring attention and confirmation of the technology to world public and bring man to the next step of plasma than the matter state. We haven't seen any nanomaterials, I think, this year here in this term, in this building to use, or the GANs material. We work the way it is. We bring examples like a pumpkin to show the shape of a UFO. If you look at it, that's what it is. Then we understand the structure inside this pumpkin. The first time I wrote it, it was a good laugh, but then we realized how the seeds control to create the structure. It's a plasma. So we're working in that way that we create, if you look, it's the shape, the field goes in, and it has the same shape. So we are working in a direction of work of a plasma without tangibility, but bringing the field forces of the universe together. And that's where we are heading for. Some people don't like it because they like to hold something, but some people will move on. The way when we spoke about nanomaterial a few years ago was a magic, and then the GANs became something strange. Now working the plasma is the step we are going. Some people don't like it because they can't feel it, but if they can carry it, they know how to manipulate the fields of universe to create whatever you want. We are working on this level to see whatever, if we need, to carry the physicality or just the emotion. It's very stage advanced, But the people who've been with us, just building it up, you don't see any. The only thing we've seen here, I think, is a few vegetation, like tomatoes, to see how they create their own homes. So, thank you very much for being here. I fulfilled my promise. Now it's for you to use it to fulfill the rest of it, to create one planet, one nation. Pardon? One race. In a way, we have become one race. We are Keshe Foundation race, and we are very strange animals. Nobody comes immediately, show everything, put it on. They want all non-disclosures, closed doors, everything hidden, it worth millions. We just throw millions of against the wall because in this place we have no money. Thank you very much for your time. We kept to our promise, you keep to yours. Bring the peace to us. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Hello?
Hello, it's the end of the workshop now. Okay, so thank you, everybody. That's
Hello. Are you there?
Just a minute. Hello, who's that?
I'm sorry, my computer crashed when I became a panelist. I'm in the United States, and I was trying to see how there's a way to get in touch with the gentleman Keys that I'm trying to get the information to a lot of people quickly, but I'm new.
Okay, well, you'll have to make some, I'm not sure who you were trying to make contact with. Keith?
I don't know, someone that Mr. Keshe had told him that he could access the online instructions or something.
You can contact me at Phoenician9 at Gmail. Contact.
Phoenician, to spell it for PHO.
I'm going to be going on in a minute to Blog Talk Radio. You could just go over to Blog Talk Radio High Frequency, and I'll see you over there.
Blog Talk Radio. Just go to Blog Talk Radio.
High Frequency Radio. Yep. Blog Talk High Frequency Radio.
High Frequency. Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much. Don't forget, we start the teaching at 10 o'clock on Monday, as usual, for the knowledge seekers who are in the background. Thank you indeed. Bye-bye.
Sorry, on Monday will not be holiday?
No, Italians don't take holidays. Are you on holidays?
I'm just asking because we have got different information day before yesterday.
No, it is not a holiday here. Some European nations, because of 1st of November, will take the Monday off, but we work international. And in this building, because we have our own structure, we work usual as every day until the 15th of December, and then we break up from 15th of December to 15th of January for 1 month. So
okay, so will we continue this the public blueprint week continuation?
We continue the public blueprint on Tuesday and Wednesday, not on Monday. We
I
carry
understood.
on
So Monday will be regular teaching day, so I will do the announcement accordingly.
Yes, because on Tuesday, when I'm back, I might have some news for you, and then we should have the systems, the working systems coming from the factory that we can show while the others show their systems. Thank you very much.
Remind people about the time change this week.
Pardon?
Remind people about the time change this week.
What? We already changed our time. Some nations will change their time as well.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, North America changes, I think tomorrow night, or is it Sunday night coming up? So
Sunday, usually Saturday night.
Yeah, Sunday at 2 a.m.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.
Indeed.
Thank you, everybody. That's the end of the Friday, October 30th, 2015 afternoon session at the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, and the end of this week's Blueprint teachings. And we'll reconvene Tuesday of next week. Okay, I'm going to end the live stream.
We are one planet, we are one race. We're together and what will not fade. Can no longer close my eyes. I feel the lies. Who are those guys who claim their rights to justify the war and hunger? Who are those guys? Child, the city on the run, they lost their life under the sun. Who claim the shame must go on and on. Let's get united as people, come on. We're getting closer. Stand in front of the doorway. We are even deeper, guided through the gateway. We have no choice, there's no other way to step up. We have everything to say. We can pull ourselves out of the mud. In this suffering, set the dust. Planet, and we are one race. We together in what we are faith. We are planet, we are one race. We together in what we are faith. You even know it works very well. We kiss for goodbye and farewell. We're walking with a light, we call it from the heart. We're ready to go, let's get started. A child, a city on the run. They lost their life under the sun. Who claim the shame must go on and on. Let's get united as people, come on. Planet, and we are one race. We together in what we are faced. We are one planet, and we are one race. We together in what we are faced. And we are one race. We're together and what we now face.